Hi, welcome back. So in this video, I've recorded this using a Samsung phone, and one of the things that I just want to go through is just your settings on your phone, because people do get confused about different settings on here and what to do with them. So your settings are going to be really important for you to, access your phone, just make it really work how you want it to work. So it is worth, if you've never done this, coming into your settings and just having a little look around and just seeing if there is anything that you need to change on here. So we'll tap on the settings section, which is, again, as I said before, is always a cogwheel. So let's give that a tap and open it. Now, depending on the version of Samsung that you've got, yours may look slightly different to mine, but overall you should have the same sort of standard things on here that you can use. So let's have a little look around. At the top we've got the connections section, and this is where you connect to your Wi-Fi at home, or if you're out and about somewhere else, you would tap on Wi-Fi there and it would search for the different Wi-Fi in the area. You would tap on and put in the Wi-Fi password for wherever you were. So that's how you would get your Wi-Fi on. The Bluetooth section, that's for headphones or speakers that you connect into your phone. So if I was to turn that on in blue, it's going to have a look for any Bluetooth devices that are nearby. And I'll show you Bluetooth in a bit more detail later. We've got data usage on here, or just a little bit further down. And this tells you how much of your mobile data that you're using. So generally, most of you at home with your phone should be using your home Wi-Fi and not using your data at home, because obviously data can get used up really quite quickly. So just be aware of that. This is telling me I've used 34 megabytes of data from the 1st of March, so I don't use a lot. I've got a warning in here, a data usage warning, so that if I get up to, say, I think I've got 2 gigabytes on this phone, so I have a data usage that it will tell me if I'm going to go over my limit. And you can set that. So say if you've only got 1 gigabyte of 4G, you can set that on your phone and it will stop, and it will save you from going over inadvertently and getting an expensive mobile phone bill, particularly if your data's not capped with your provider. That's something that's worth bearing in mind. I do have my 4G capped on here just so that I don't accidentally either leave a video playing, upload or download things that are quite big and go over my limit. So I've got a data 2 gig warning. You can see that on the orange line there. I think there are ways you can change that, and it does tell you lower down where you use your data as well on there. If I just click on the little cogwheel for settings, set data warning and data warning, mine's at 2 gig, and for example I could change that to 1 gig and it would give me a warning there. Set data limit, mobile data will be turned off when the specific limit is reached. So if I just turn that on, you can see it's turned on in the blue line, data limit, and say I've only got 1 gig of data a month. If I set that, it's never going to go over that. So again, I won't get a scary bill from them. So that's one of the things that you can have a look at on your settings. Just check your Wi-Fi, check your data and see what it is you're using, and make sure you've got it set to either give you a warning or be turned off when you reach your data allowance, so you don't get any scary bills. So let's go back again to the settings section. We'll go back into connections. Everything else I think is okay. Sometimes people accidentally turn the flight mode on, and if you do, you'll have a little aeroplane. Can you just see at the top of my screen next to 33%, and my Wi-Fi won't really be working then. If you ever see that plane and you've no Wi-Fi, come in here and make sure you've not turned this off by accident, turned it on by accident, because I do see that a lot. So let's just go back, turn that off, and we'll go on to the next one. Sounds and ringtone and volume. So this is where you can adjust the noises that your phone makes. And we've got like, it will vibrate while ringing. Some people like that because they can feel it in the pockets. Not always, depending on what kind of ringtone it is. You can just have it to vibrate and not ringing. So again, you would just hear it vibrating in your bag if you don't want it noisy. You can change your ringtone here. If I tap on ringtone, you can choose and have different ringtones. I have my notifications set to silent. Notifications are when your phone annoyingly bings all the time, and I prefer mine not to be doing that. If you do want it to have a sound, again, you can choose different ones on there and see which one suits you. If I tap on volume, we've got the different volume options. Again, my notifications are turned off. But if I slide these up and down, I can make the ringtone higher, the media higher, and you can also adjust the volume on your long switch on the side of the phone as well. So again, you can just explore through those and see if there's anything that you need to change. The notifications section, these are for your app notifications. Again, you might find quite often that apps are sending you notifications at the top of your screen, or if you slide down, there may well be notifications here. Mine are all silent, but yours might be binging or making a noise when they pop up on here. But I as you can see, I have mine set to silent. It tells me on here recently sent notifications, app notifications. But if you do have any that are annoying and making noise a lot of the time, they are easy to turn off. You can just usually come in here, slide them and turn them off. But because mine are all silent, I will just get them on the list. But if for example, Facebook or Messenger are making a lot of noise on your phone, you can just come in and turn them off. You just slide sideways, turn it off into white, and it should stop pinging at you, which is a good tip. So the other thing as well is if you go into bed and your phone's nearby and if you know it's going to make a noise, you can turn on the do not disturb option, and that means it will be silent overnight. It won't do any of that pinging or anything, which is handy. I do that on a night if my phone's in my room. So we've also got the display. So let's click on that. And here you can turn up the brightness on your screen. Obviously, the brighter it is, the more battery it's going to use. You can have adaptive brightness. That can get a little bit annoying because quite often it will turn off quite quickly from what I think I've seen. But you can it will adapt according to the lighting conditions, so you can experiment with that if you want to use it. Some phones have the blue light filter, which will help to reduce eye strain. You can see it's put an orangey filter over the top of the screen. I've not really ever used that, but I guess maybe if you're doing a lot of reading, it says it does reduce eye strain if you choose to use that. So that's definitely an option. The dark mode, some people like that and have it that way around, so it's quite dark behind. So again, that's personal preference as to how you want your screen to look. But I've quite often seen phones like that as well. People prefer that than the white glare, like that. Just turn the brightness down a little bit. So font size and style. So this is where you can make your text look bigger. So at the bottom you can see I've got a slidey line, and I can adjust the font there if I want it to be bigger or smaller. Font style, it just says default. There may well be other options. I just keep it on this main one, but we've got different options there that you could use, and bold font as well. So again, that's just dependent, on how you like to read. And if you do struggle to read things, you could experiment with some of these. Maybe choose a different font, make the font bigger, or put the bold font on. So we'll just go back, see if there's anything else in the display section. So we've done the font style, screen zoom, choose which apps you want to use in full screen ratio. Sometimes things do open up quite small, so I'm guessing if you were to tap on these, let's see. Oh yeah, it's saying that they're all optimized to run in full screen anyway on here. So maybe if there's the odd one or two that are not, you can turn it on. But I think all the ones I'm using do run in full screen anyway. The next one down, screen timeout. This we do change on a lot of people's phones, because if you don't, a lot of the time this can automatically be set to 30 or 15 seconds and really annoy people because the phone's going dark all the time. If you're just reading and then you don't touch your screen, after 30 seconds it's going to go dark. If it's set to be 15 or 30 seconds, say on timeout. So if you haven't done this, tap on your screen timeout and change it to the highest, which is 30 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you prefer, but not the ones under 5 minutes. And then it will time out then. Makes it a lot easier. And do that on your tablet as well. So your home screen layout, again, depending on how you like your phone, you can change your layout to be in different ways. So let's tap the top one. Home and app screen, home screen only. So I have the home and app screen, so all my apps are on a different page. If you want home screen only, I think all your apps will be shown on the home pages. So if you remember, some of your apps might be on the first 2 or 3 pages, and you have to flick your phone up to find the rest of your apps. But you might just want them all on the home screen. That's entirely up to yourself. You can change the way your home screen looks. So you can have more on your home screen with a 4x5 grid, 4x6, 5x5. You can have different options on there. I think mine's just a 4x5. So again, there's all kinds of different options there, which you can have a read, but some of those I don't use. There is an option to add apps to your home screen when they're first downloaded from Play Store. That can be quite handy if you can't find them once you've downloaded them, to just let them come to your home screen. So you would just slide that to turn it on if you want to have that option. So a couple of other things. The easy mode. Some people like that one because that just means that your screen layout, I think the apps will be bigger, and your touch as well changes. Let me just have a look. I've just changed that on. We'll just go back to my home page, see if there's anything different. So you can see all my apps are a lot bigger on there than they were before. So again, for anybody who prefers the display to be bigger, that's definitely an option on there. You can make the apps are a lot bigger, and you can see even now in settings that my screen is a lot bigger than what it was. So I'll just go back and turn that back to normal. But that's the easy mode. You just tap the button and just slide it, and it should turn it off. Once it goes back to white and not blue, it's turned off. So I think that's everything in the home screen. The wallpaper screen, this is where you can change the images on your phone. So I've just got this standard Samsung blue wallpaper. I think you can add in your own photographs. Yeah, you can by tapping gallery and choosing a photograph. Some of the back wallpapers you've got to pay for, but you can have a look at that and see. A lot of people like a photograph on there. The lock screen, if I just go back to this page again. So yeah, that's just the wallpaper. There, we've got the lock screen option. So your lock screen is where you've got your pin set on here. If you've set that up, some of you might not. So if you haven't and you want to, you would type on and put your pin in there. And a pin is just the number that you put in, or a pattern whenever you open your phone. It just protects your phone if it's lost or stolen, that generally people can't actually get into the phone. So yeah, it's worth considering if you've not set it. You would tap on screen lock and set your own pin there. So yeah, you've got a lot of different options. Yeah, I don't get into mine with fingerprint or face recognition, but you can do that as well, depending on your phone. That's down here, biometrics and security. Some people will do that, add your fingerprint or face recognition, just to make it more secure. So I think that's probably the main things on here. If you just keep scrolling down, you can see there's even more options. You've got your apps on here. This just tells you about all of the apps. You can come in, if I tap on BBC News, for example, you can see at the bottom I've got an uninstall option, and that's just one way of easily deleting the apps, by just coming in here, having a look and deleting and removing them. Obviously you can only remove apps that you've put on your phone, not the ones that were inbuilt by Google or Apple, and by doing that it does free up some storage for any apps that you're not using. So that's a little bit of a longer video, but I would encourage you to explore your settings section, even some of the ones that I've not shown you, just to see what you actually have got in here. You can't mess it up, they're all little slidey buttons. Usually they tell you what it is, you know, that you're doing. And if you turn something on and you think, actually I don't like that, just slide the setting the other way and turn it off again. It's only by having the confidence just to explore, have a read and see what options you've got that you'll learn more about your phone.